war is over and it has been 3 years since then. The role of the military, particularly in the former war areas, has changed from what it was then to what it is now. So could you start off by telling, if you're going to break it into components, what would the role actually be now in the former war areas?
First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to clarify, an area where people seem to be having doubts. Let me address this question from an international point of view. Let's come to the national point of view subsequently, but internationally, the militaries world over have certain roles to play. The first being deterrence of potential threats, and if threats manifest, fighting and winning the national wars, that is to safeguard the countries. We did not have to do that since independence. We did not have external threats bearing on us. The second role is to deter internal aggression, and if deterrence fails and aggression takes place, fight or use military force and defeat internal aggression in support of the civil authorities and establish peace and harmony, thereby protecting the sovereignty of the country. That is what you were referring to as we have done 3 years ago. Okay. The third role is to assist civil authorities in times of peace in whatever way the civil authorities want us to assist. When I say civil authorities, this is legally constituted government and the bureaucracy appointed thereof, including the police and other civil departments.
Is there any sort of the role the military has in the economic sphere in Jaffna in the north?
The decision what role, whether it is economic or otherwise, is played by the military is decided by the civil authorities. If civil authorities seek our assistance, military is ready to extend that assistance. Let me take one example from Colombo, not far away, because you see it every day. You may have seen the development work that is going on in Battaramulla Parliament area. You may have seen the development work taking place elsewhere in Colombo. Military is helping those developments, but not on our own or forcing ourselves or thrusting ourselves upon them, but they have requested, the UDA has requested us to provide assistance.
Along the Jaffna Highway, because we've seen this for ourselves when we go up north, there's a string of restaurants that have been run by military, because I mean that's what the board says, and it's military men, armen. So is the authorities high up in command, are they aware of this? Because this seems to be sort of encroaching into the economic opportunities of the residents themselves, isn't it?
This I think has been taken care of. This has been addressed earlier also. This practice of having canteens inside camps was a practice that has been there for last, I would say that from the inception of the military, for the use of the people who are inside the camp, generally, toothpaste and so on. They
on the side of the road.
Yeah. Let me come to that. So normally we have canteens inside the camp premises, but here in this case, some of these camps are located along the road, but I am sure with the relocation that is now being considered, these things will be taken care of.
According to Brigadier Wanigasooriya, while regulation with regard to high security zones have been relaxed, with many being dismantled, there are still several remaining army camps and naval bases which are located in places where civilian populations have long occupied. Mullikulam, he says, requires a certain security procedure to be followed for people to have access.
Mullikulam, I think, is the place where Prince Vijaya landed, so that itself would probably tell you why we should be there. Because the first invasion that came to Sri Lanka came via that area.
But it has displaced 400 odd families from.
Okay, displacement of families is not something that we do with pleasure. But when it comes to national security, I think there may be such instances, but I am sure their case would be taken care of in an appropriate manner.
The LLRC has made particular recommendations with regard to the role of the military, and in recommendation 9.227 it says that it's important that the northern province reverts to civilian administration in matters related to day-to-day life, and the military recedes to the background.
Let me reiterate what His Excellency the President announced in the Victory Day parade here. He said that the civilian administration has been established in all parts of the country, and that people are free to get about their day-to-day activities. Take the case of schools, for example. We had, I think, about 1,200 schools in North and East. Out of them, more than 950 are functioning today, and those schools that are not functioning, and children are going to other schools. Hospitals have received more than ₹1 billion worth assistance and have been renovated. More than 500 kilometers of major roads in the north and east have been renovated or are being renovated. You would see when you go to Jaffna or Kilnochi or wherever. And these things take time, of course. And so many bridges have come up. Who did these things? The civil authorities.
Another point by the LLRC is that with regard to the high security zone, another point which they referred to was that the military removes any remaining restrictions on visiting place of worship, and they should also include access to place of religious worship within the high security zones. Are there specific places where that has been?
Kirimale, anybody can go. It's close to the high security zone, but anybody can go. There are temples in Jaffna, anybody can visit anytime. There is not a single temple, Hindu or Buddhist, or not a single church that is being restricted, access being restricted.
So in Mullikulam, they can't have Sunday mass, they have to get special permission for that, and it's not actually designated as a high security zone.
Mullikulam is important. Therefore, Mullikulam will remain and the church will also remain. Access to church has not been denied to anybody. Because it's within a military camp, as per the normal procedure, we would establish the identity of the people who come into the camp. But that is not harassment.